Hey, my friend, before we start, do me a quick favor. If you want to improve your English and also your life, hit the like button, subscribe to Ear Candy English, and share this with someone you care about. This channel isn't just about English words, it's about waking up your mind, one simple sentence at a time. Now, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable, but please listen. What if just 10 minutes today could change the way you think about your whole life? What if watching this video all the way to the end helps you speak better English and stop wasting your time without even noticing it? If you stay with me, you'll learn simple English, real-life thinking, and one powerful truth that most people avoid. Here it is. Your time is your life, not your phone, not your job, not your excuses. Every minute you spend is a minute of your life that you will never get back. And the scary part? Most people don't feel it happening. They scroll, they wait, they say later, and suddenly years are gone. You don't need big words to understand this. When you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you're not just delaying a task, you're giving away a piece of your life, and no one gives it back. If you watch this video till the end, you'll start to see time differently. You'll stop feeling stuck. You'll learn how to respect your hours, your energy, and your future. And at the same time, you'll hear clear, simple English you can understand and use. This isn't motivation for one day. This is a wake-up call. So stay with me. Listen carefully, because learning English is important, but learning how not to waste your life is even more important. And today might be the day everything starts to change. Let me ask you something real. What if the reason your life hasn't changed yet is not your job, not your family, not your country, but you? That question hurts a little, right? Good, that means you're listening. Most people spend years blaming everything around them. They blame their parents, they blame their boss, they blame the economy, they blame bad luck. And while they're busy pointing fingers, their life stays exactly the same. Here's the truth, and I'm saying this to help you, not to attack you. Your life is your responsibility, not tomorrow, not someday, today. The moment you accept that, something powerful happens. You stop waiting, you stop complaining, and you start building. Think about it. Two people can start from the same place, same school, same city, same problems. One keeps saying, "I can't because." The other says, "Okay, this is hard, but what can I do?" 5 years later, their lives look completely different, not because one is smarter, not because one is lucky, but because one took responsibility. If you watch this video till the end, you'll gain something more valuable than motivation. You'll gain control, control over your actions, your habits, and your future. And yes, you'll also improve your English by listening to simple, clear, real American-style speech that you can use in daily life. Let me give you a simple example. If your English is not good yet, you have two choices. You can say, "My school was bad," or "I don't have time," or "I'm shy." Or you can say, "This is my level today, and I'll improve it little by little." That second choice changes everything. Same with money, same with health, same with confidence. When something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Whose fault is this?" ask, "What's one small thing I can do today?" Maybe it's 10 minutes of practice. Maybe it's turning off your phone 1 hour earlier. Maybe it's speaking English even if you make mistakes. This mindset works in real life. You don't need big plans. You don't need perfect timing. You just need to stop acting like a victim and start acting like the owner of your life. And the best part? Once you do that, no one can take that power away from you. You become stronger, calmer, and more confident. So ask yourself now, honestly, are you ready to stop blaming and start building? Because if you are, this is where things begin to change. Let me talk to you like a real human for a moment, not like a teacher in a classroom. Imagine this situation. You've just finished reading a long report at work. It's 12 pages. It took you 25 minutes. Your coffee is cold. Your brain feels tired. And then your boss says, "Can you send me a quick summary?" This is where many people panic. But here's the truth. Writing a short English summary does asterisk, asterisk, not asterisk, asterisk, require fancy words, perfect grammar, or long sentences. It requires clear thinking. That's it. And today, I want to show you how to do this in a way that actually fits real life. In the U.S., especially at work, people value speed and clarity Nobody wants a novel. They want the point. A good summary is like a good road sign. Short, clear, impossible to misunderstand. So here's a simple structure you can use every single time, even when you're tired. First, one sentence about what the report is about. For example, this report reviews customer feedback from September. That's it. One sentence. No stress. Second, one or two sentences about the main result. Think numbers, changes, or outcomes. Overall satisfaction increased by 10%, but support requests also went up. You don't need every detail. You're not rewriting the report. You're saving someone time. Third, one sentence about what happens next. Next, the team will improve customer support response time. Done. 3 sentences. That's a professional summary. Not impressive because it's long, impressive because it's useful. Now let's talk about feedback, because this is where tone matters. In real workplaces, especially American offices, how you say something is often more important than what you say. If you say, "This is wrong," people close up. If you say, "Maybe we can make this clearer," people listen. Same idea, different energy. Feedback should sound like teamwork, not attack. Use soft starters like "I think," "maybe," or "we could." For example, "I think this section looks great," or "maybe we could add one more example here." These phrases make you sound professional, cooperative, and confident even if your English is not perfect. And here's a powerful tip you can use today. When you send a summary or feedback, end with a polite open door. Say something like, "Please let me know if you have any questions," or "happy to discuss further." This shows confidence and openness. It tells people you're engaged, not defensive. Real English at work is not about showing how smart you are. It's about making life easier for the people around you. Clear summaries reduce meetings. Polite feedback builds trust. Simple language saves time. So next time you finish a report, don't overthink it. 3 sentences. Clear idea. Calm tone. That's real working English. And if you practice this even once a day, 5 days a week, in a month your confidence will feel 10 pounds lighter, like you dropped unnecessary weight from your brain. Let's slow things down for a moment and talk about something that looks small, but quietly controls how comfortable you feel at work. Small talk. Not meetings, not reports, not emails, just those short, everyday conversations that happen before work, after work, or while you're waiting for coffee. Many English learners think small talk is useless. It's not. In real life, especially in the United States, small talk is the bridge between being just another coworker and being someone people feel relaxed around. And here's the good news. Small talk does not require advanced English. It requires simple words, good timing, and a little courage. Let me paint a picture. It's 8:45 a.m. You walk into the office. Someone says, "Good morning." You panic inside for half a second, then say, "Good morning." That's already a win. Now imagine you add one small sentence. "How's your morning going?" That's it. You didn't give a speech. You didn't tell a story. You just opened a door. And most people will walk through it. They might say, "Pretty good," or "Busy already," or "I need coffee." Congratulations. You are now having small talk. Small talk works because it's light. It's not deep. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need big ideas. Safe topics are everywhere. Weather is a classic. It's really hot today. In the US, that could mean 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and everyone understands the feeling. Coffee is another universal topic. Have you had coffee yet? That sentence alone has started millions of conversations. Weekends are also gold. On Monday morning, "How was your weekend?" is almost automatic, and the answer doesn't need to be exciting. "It was nice. I stayed home and relaxed." That's enough. Then you ask back, "How about you?" Now the conversation is balanced. Before meetings, small talk helps people relax. Did you find the meeting room okay? Or looks like it's a busy day. These phrases don't carry pressure, they just signal friendliness. And after work, small talk helps close the day smoothly. Good job today. See you tomorrow. Have a good evening. These short sentences build consistency and trust over time. Compliments are another powerful tool. Simple ones. Nice work on that presentation. You did a great job on the report. In American culture, positive feedback is normal and welcome. And when someone compliments you, don't minimize it. Just say, "Thanks, I appreciate it." That's confident and polite. One more important skill: saying no politely. If someone invites you out and you can't go, you don't need excuses. "Thanks for the invite, but I already have plans." Or, "Maybe next time." Friendly, clear, no guilt. Small talk is not about being interesting, it's about being present. If you practice just 2 or 3 simple phrases a day, within a few weeks, work will feel lighter, conversations will feel less scary, and English will stop feeling like a test and start feeling like a tool you actually enjoy using. Let's talk about the end of the workday, because this is the part many people ignore, but it quietly shapes how others remember you. Finishing work is not just about closing your laptop and walking out the door, it's also about how you communicate in those last few minutes. In real workplaces, especially in the United States, the way you wrap things up matters. And the good news is, you don't need complex English to do it well. You just need a few clear, friendly habits. Picture this: it's around 4:45 p.m. You've been working all day. Your energy is low. Someone sends you a message or stops by your desk. This is not the time for long explanations. This is the time for clear closing language. Simple phrases like, "I'll finish this before I leave," or "I'll send an update tomorrow morning," are powerful. They show responsibility without drama. If you're ending a meeting, phrases like, "Let's wrap things up," or "I think we're good for today," are very common and very natural. When you use them, you sound confident and organized, even if English is not your first language. Now, let's talk about updates, because end-of-day updates are everywhere. You don't need a long email. A short message works best. Something like, "Quick update. I reviewed the report and shared feedback. I'll continue tomorrow." That's it. Short, clear, useful. People in U.S. workplaces appreciate this because it saves time. They don't want extra reading at the end of the day. They want to know where things stand. Another important habit is closing conversations politely. If a coworker helped you, don't disappear. Say, "Thanks for your help today," or "I really appreciate it." These sentences are small, but they build goodwill. Over weeks and months, they make people more willing to work with you again. When it's time to leave, simple goodbyes matter too. "Good job today," "See you tomorrow," or "Have a good evening," are all natural and friendly. In American culture, saying goodbye is part of being respectful. Walking out silently can feel cold, even if you didn't mean it that way. Now, let's talk about unfinished work, because this causes stress for many people. If something is not done, don't apologize too much. Just be clear. Say, "I'll continue this first thing tomorrow," or "I need a bit more time. I'll update you in the morning." This sounds calm and professional. It shows control instead of panic. And finally, give yourself a clean mental stop. At the end of the day, take 60 seconds to ask yourself, "What did I finish today?" Even one small win counts. This habit helps you leave work without carrying stress home. Clear endings create better beginnings the next day. When you use simple English to close your day, work feels lighter, communication feels easier, and confidence grows naturally. This is not about perfect English. It's about ending the day like someone who knows what they're doing.
Let me ask you something real. What if the reason you're stuck isn't because you don't know enough, but because you think too much and do too little? Think about that for a second. Most people don't fail because they're not smart. They fail because they stay inside their head. If you keep listening, you'll see how simple action, not more thinking, can completely change your English, your confidence, and your daily life. We live in a world where thinking feels productive, planning feels safe, watching videos feels like learning, but here's the hard truth. Thinking without action doesn't move your life forward. It keeps you busy, not better. You think about learning English. You think about speaking. You think about making mistakes. You think about what people might say. And after all that thinking, you do nothing. Then the day ends and you feel tired even though you didn't move. Let's make this very clear and very simple. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't need to understand everything before you start. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need the right accent. You need to move, even a little, especially a little. When you act, your brain learns. When you act, fear gets quieter. When you act, confidence grows. Here's a real-life example. You want to speak English better, so what do? You watch another video. You save another post. You tell yourself, I'll speak when I'm ready. But ready never comes. Now try this instead. Speak one sentence today, just one, out loud. I'm learning English. That's it. Tomorrow, say 2 sentences. You didn't plan a lot. You didn't overthink. You just did it. And that small action already makes you better than yesterday. The benefit of stopping overthinking is huge. You save energy. You feel lighter. You stop being afraid of starting. You realize mistakes are not dangerous. They're normal. Children don't think before they speak. They speak, mess up, and learn. That's why they grow fast. Adults think too much and freeze. This idea works everywhere, not just with English. Want to exercise? Don't plan the perfect workout. Do 5 push-ups now. Want to read more? Read 1 page. Want to change your life? Take 1 action today. Action builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds a new version of you. So here's the question I'll leave you with. What is one small action you can take today instead of thinking about it again? Not tomorrow, not later, today. Because your life doesn't change when you think, it changes when you move. And once you start moving, even slowly, you'll realize you were never stuck. You were just standing still. Let me ask you a question that might hit a little hard. What if the only thing standing between you and a better life is the kind of person you choose to be every single day? Not your past, not your luck, not other people, just you. Stay with me, because if you understand this idea, it can completely change how you see yourself, your English learning, and your future. In every group of people, there is always that guy. You know who I mean. The one who shows up early, the one who keeps going when others quit, the one who does the hard thing even when no one is watching. He's not special, he's not perfect, he just decides to act differently. And the truth is, that guy could be you. The only difference is daily choices. Most people choose the easy path. They sleep a little more. They scroll a little longer. They say, I'm tired, or I'll start tomorrow. That feels normal, but normal doesn't build confidence. Normal doesn't build skill. Normal keeps you exactly where you are. The people who grow choose the harder option more often. They practice when they don't feel like it. They speak English even when their voice shakes. They study for 15 minutes instead of 0. Those small choices add up fast. Let's talk about something very practical. You want to improve your English. You don't need to study for 2 hours a day. You don't need perfect grammar. You just need to be the person who practices a little every day. Be the one who listens to 5 minutes of English instead of scrolling. Be the one who repeats 1 sentence out loud. Be the one who tries, even badly. That person wins in the long run, always. The benefit of becoming that guy is huge. You start trusting yourself. You stop waiting for motivation. You feel proud at the end of the day. Even when results are small, your self-respect grows, and self-respect changes everything. It changes how you talk, how you walk, how you see problems. You stop asking, can I do this, and start saying, I'll figure it out. This doesn't only apply to English. It works with health, work, money, and mindset. Being disciplined in small things makes you strong in big things. You don't need to tell people your plans. You don't need approval. Results speak louder than words. So here's the real question for you. What would your life look like 1 year from now if you decided to be that guy starting today? Not perfect, just consistent. Because the world doesn't change for people who wait, it changes for people who act. And the moment you choose to act differently, even in small ways, you stop being average and start becoming unstoppable.
Let me ask you something honest. What if your biggest problem is not your job, not your past, not other people, but you? That question can feel uncomfortable, but stay with me, because understanding this can give you real power over your life. Every day, there are two versions of you fighting inside your head. One version wants comfort. It wants to sleep more, scroll more, delay things, and stay safe. The other version wants growth. It wants to learn, to try, to speak up, to move forward even when it feels scary. This is the real battle. It's not you versus the world, it's you versus you. Most people lose this battle without even noticing. They wake up, grab their phone, and let the day control them. They say, "I'm tired, I'll do it later," or "It's not a big deal." One small excuse feels harmless, but when excuses repeat every day, they slowly shape your life. Months pass, years pass, and suddenly you feel stuck, confused about how you got there. Now here's the good news. If the problem is you, that also means the solution is you. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to start choosing the stronger version of yourself more often. Not all the time, just more often than before. Let's make this practical. You want to improve your English. The weak version of you says, "I'll study tomorrow," or "I'm embarrassed to speak." The strong version says, "I'll listen for 5 minutes," or "I'll say one sentence out loud." Which one wins today? That one small choice matters more than you think. Over time, the version you choose becomes your identity. The benefit of winning this battle is confidence, real confidence. Not loud confidence, but quiet confidence. The kind that comes from knowing you keep promises to yourself. When you beat the lazy voice even once a day, you feel stronger. You trust yourself more. And when life gets hard, that trust helps you stand up instead of giving up. This idea applies everywhere: health, work, relationships, growth. Every time you choose effort over comfort, you build discipline. And discipline gives you freedom. Freedom of regret. Freedom of what if. So here's the question I want you to think about today. Which version of you are you feeding right now? The one that scrolls and waits, or the one that acts and learns? Because both versions are inside you, but only one can win. And the version that wins today will shape your tomorrow. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest with yourself and brave enough to choose growth one small step at a time. That's how change really starts. Let me ask you a real question before we start. What if the reason your life keeps going in circles is not because you lack talent, but because your feelings are in control? That question might sound simple, but the answer can change how you live every single day. Most people think they need motivation to move forward. They say, "I don't feel like studying today," or "I'm not ready," or "I'm just not in the mood." But here's the truth no one tells you. Your feelings are not leaders, they are followers. If you let them lead, your life becomes unstable. One day you feel good, one day you feel tired, and your actions change every time. That's exhausting. This is where willpower comes in. Willpower is not about being tough all the time. It's about doing the right thing even when you don't feel like it. You don't feel like waking up early, but you do it anyway. You don't feel like practicing English, but you listen for 5 minutes anyway. You don't feel confident, but you speak one sentence anyway. These small actions train your willpower like a muscle. The benefit is when willpower grows, your life becomes calmer. You stop arguing with yourself all day. You don't wait for motivation anymore. You just act, and action brings results. Results bring confidence. Confidence makes everything easier. Let's make this practical. Imagine it's 10 p.m., you're tired, your phone is right next to you. The easy choice is scrolling for one more hour. The stronger choice is putting the phone away and going to bed. One choice helps you tomorrow, the other steals energy from your future. Willpower is choosing your future self over your current comfort. This idea applies everywhere: health, work, relationships, growth. Every time you choose effort over comfort, you build discipline, and discipline gives you freedom. Freedom of regret, freedom of what if. So here's the question I want you to think about today. Which version of you are you feeding right now? The one that scrolls and waits, or the one that acts and learns? Because both versions are inside you, but only one can win, and the version that wins today will shape your tomorrow. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be honest with yourself and brave enough to choose growth one small step at a time. That's how change really starts.
Let me ask you something honestly. How often do you open your phone, look at someone else's life, and suddenly feel worse about your own? Be real with yourself, because this habit right here is quietly stealing your confidence, your energy, and your focus. Comparison feels harmless at first. You scroll for 5 minutes, you see someone traveling, someone making money, someone speaking English better than you, someone winning at life, and without even noticing, your mind starts whispering, "Why am I so behind? Why can't I do that? What's wrong with me?" That's not inspiration anymore. That's poison. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Comparison is killing your progress, not because you're weak, but because you're looking at the wrong scoreboard. You're comparing your real, messy, everyday life with someone else's best 10 seconds. You don't see their stress, their failures, their fear, or how many times they wanted to quit. You only see the highlight, and you judge yourself harshly because of it. Now let's talk about the benefit of stopping this habit. When you stop comparing, your mind gets quieter. You stop wasting energy on jealousy and self-hate. That energy comes back to you, and you can finally use it to build your own life. Your English improves faster, your confidence grows, your focus gets stronger, not overnight, but clearly. This is very practical. If someone else speaks English better than you, instead of saying, "I'll never be like that," ask a better question. What can I learn from them? That one change turns comparison into fuel instead of pain. Learn, don't hate. Observe, don't judge yourself. Here's something you can do today. Clean your digital space. Unfollow accounts that make you feel small. Mute pages that trigger anxiety. This is not weakness. This is self-respect. You don't need constant reminders of what you don't have. You need reminders of what you're building. And remember this, your race is with who you were yesterday, not with anyone else. If you understand one more sentence today than yesterday, you're winning. If you speak one sentence more confidently today, you're winning. Progress doesn't need applause. It needs consistency. So let me leave you with this question. What if you spent the next 30 days focusing only on your own growth, your own habits, your own small wins? No comparison, no judging, just building. Your life would feel lighter, clearer, more yours. You are not late. You are not broken. You're just distracted by other people's paths. Look back at your own road. That's where your real power is. Let me ask you something important. How many decisions in your life are you making based on advice from people who have never done what you want to do? Think about that for a second, because this one habit can quietly delay your dreams for years. Here's the hard truth. Not all advice is good advice, and just because someone is older, louder, or closer to you does not mean they know the right path for your life. Many people give advice based on fear, not experience. They say things like, "That's too risky," or "Be realistic,"
or don't try, you might fail. But the real question is, have they actually tried and succeeded themselves? If you want to speak English confidently, don't listen to someone who's afraid to open their mouth. If you want to start a business, don't listen to someone who has never taken a risk. If you want a better life, don't follow advice from people who are stuck and unhappy. This isn't about disrespect, it's about direction. Here's the benefit of choosing advice wisely. Your mind becomes clearer. You stop feeling confused. You stop going back and forth. You gain confidence because your actions finally match your goals. And when your actions and goals align, progress feels faster and lighter. Let's make this practical. Before you accept advice, ask yourself one simple question. Has this person achieved what I want to achieve? If the answer is yes, listen carefully. If the answer is no, you can still thank them, but you don't have to follow their words. Protecting your vision is part of growing up. This applies to learning English too. Some people say you're too old, or your accent is bad, or you'll never sound natural. But many fluent speakers started late. Many made mistakes. The difference is they listened to people who had already walked that road, not people who were scared of it. Another useful habit is this: limit how many opinions you take in. Too many voices create noise. Noise creates doubt. Doubt kills action. Choose one or two good sources. Follow them consistently. Take action. Adjust as you go. So here's the question I want you to think about today. Who are you really listening to, and where are they leading you? Toward fear or toward growth? You don't need to fight people. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to choose your input carefully, because the right advice doesn't just tell you what to do, it helps you become who you're meant to be.
Let me ask you something real. What if no one ever chooses you? What if no one calls you, supports you, or believes in you first? Do you stop, or do you step forward anyway? This question matters more than you think, because one simple idea can change your whole life. You must pick yourself. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The world is busy. People are focused on their own problems. They are not waiting to discover you. They are not coming to save you. And that can feel scary at first, but once you understand it, it becomes powerful. Because if no one is picking you, you are free to pick yourself. Think about how many times you've waited, waiting for confidence, waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to say, you're ready. But readiness doesn't come before action, it comes after. The people you admire didn't wait to be chosen, they chose themselves first, and the world followed later. Here's the benefit of picking yourself. You stop asking for approval. You stop wasting energy trying to please everyone. You move faster. You feel stronger. You feel proud even when things are hard. And slowly, confidence grows, not because people clap for you, but because you know you're showing up for yourself. This is very practical. If you want to learn English, don't wait for perfect pronunciation. Speak today. If you want a better job, don't wait until you feel good enough. Apply anyway. If you want to start a project, don't wait for support. Start small, start messy, start now. Let's make it simple. Picking yourself can be one small action a day: recording your voice in English for 1 minute, reading 5 pages of a book, sending one email, posting one short video. These small actions send a message to your brain: I take myself seriously. And here's something important for beginners learning English. You don't need to sound perfect to deserve a voice. You don't need permission to practice. English is a skill, not a gift. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you are picking yourself again. So here's the question I want to leave you with. If you don't pick yourself, who will? And if you do pick yourself today, what small step will you take? You don't need the whole plan. You don't need everyone's support. You just need one decision: to show up for your own life. Pick yourself today. Do it quietly, do it consistently, and one day people will ask how you became so confident. You'll smile and think, I chose myself when no one else did. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you took a real risk for your life? Not a big dramatic one, just a small risk that made your heart beat faster. If you can't remember, that might be the problem. Here's a simple truth. No risk, no story. The life you admire, the people you look up to, the confidence you want, none of that comes from playing it safe all the time. Safe feels comfortable, yes, but safe is also quiet, predictable, and honestly forgettable. Think about it. The best stories you remember in your life didn't happen when everything was easy. They happened when you were scared, but tried anyway. When you said yes, even though you weren't ready. When you spoke up, showed up, or stepped forward without knowing the result. That's where growth lives. Now, here's the benefit of taking risks. You build courage. Not fake confidence, real confidence. The kind that says, I can handle whatever happens. Even if you fail, you don't lose. You learn, you grow, you become stronger. And next time, the fear feels smaller. Let's make this very practical. Learning English is a perfect example. Many people understand English but never speak it. Why? Fear. Fear of mistakes, fear of accents, fear of being judged. But the only way to speak better English is to risk sounding bad at first. Speak anyway. Make mistakes anyway. That one brave moment can change years of silence. Risk doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow or doing something crazy. Risk can be small. Raising your hand in a meeting, posting a short video, applying for a job you're not 100% ready for, starting a conversation in English. These are small risks, but they create big change over time. Ask yourself this: what is the cost of not taking the risk? Staying stuck, feeling regret, watching others live the life you want. That pain lasts much longer than the pain of trying. Here's a simple rule you can use today. If something scares you but excites you at the same time, it's probably worth doing. Your fear is not a stop sign, it's a direction. So let me leave you with this question. What story do you want to tell about your life? The story of staying safe or the story of daring to try? Take one small risk today. Speak, start, ask, try. Because at the end of the day, a life without risk may feel easy, but a life with courage is the one you'll remember.
Let me ask you a question that might make you uncomfortable, but stay with me for a moment. If nothing changes in your life, where will you be 1 year from now? Same habits, same routine, same excuses, or closer to the life you say you want? Here's the hard truth, said in a simple way. Time is moving, whether you move or not. The clock does not care if you feel tired. It does not slow down because you're confused. It does not wait for you to feel ready. Every day passes quietly, and once it's gone for good. Think about this. 5 years ago, you probably had goals. Maybe you wanted to speak better English. Maybe you wanted a better job, more confidence, more freedom. Now, ask yourself honestly, what did you do with that time? This is not to make you feel bad. This is to wake you up. The benefit of understanding this is powerful. When you truly feel that time is limited, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. Endless scrolling, waiting for motivation, saying, I'll start next week. You realize that later is dangerous because later often becomes never. This idea is very easy to apply in real life. You don't need to change everything today, just change one small thing. For example, instead of watching random videos for 1 hour, spend 10 minutes listening to English. Read one page, speak one sentence out loud. That small action done every day adds up fast. Many people think they need more time. That's not true. You don't need more time, you need more focus. Even 15 minutes a day is enough if you use it well. Over 1 year, that's more than 90 hours. Imagine how much better your English or your life can be with that. Here's another question for you. What is more painful, starting now or looking back later with regret? Regret is heavy. It stays with you. Action is uncomfortable, but only for a short time. So don't wait for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The best time is now, not because you feel ready, but because time will not ask you again. Start today. One small step, one clear decision, because the clock is ticking and your future self is watching, hoping you don't waste another day. Let me ask you something real and be honest with yourself for a second. What if nobody is actually watching you as much as you think? What if nobody is judging your every move? What if nobody really cares? That sounds scary at first, right? But stay with me because this idea can completely change your life. Here's the truth most people never tell you. People are busy. They are worried about their own problems, their own money, their own family, their own stress. They might look at you for 5 seconds, maybe comment, maybe judge a little, and then they move on. That means something powerful for you. You are more free than you think. The benefit of understanding this is huge. When you stop worrying about what people think, you start doing what actually matters. You speak more, you try more, you fail more, and that's a good thing because growth only happens when you try. Think about learning English. Maybe you're scared to speak because you think people will laugh. But guess what? Most people don't care. And even if they do, it lasts 1 minute, then it's gone. But your progress stays, your confidence stays, your skill stays. This idea is easy to use in daily life. Next time you feel nervous, ask yourself this simple question. Will this matter in 1 year? Will anyone remember this small mistake? The answer is almost always no. So why let fear control you today? Here's another way to use this mindset. When you want to start something, speaking English, making a video, applying for a job, do it quietly if you need to. You don't need applause, you don't need approval, you just need action. Small steps done every day are stronger than big dreams you never start. And here's the funny part. When you stop trying to impress people, when you stop begging for attention, you actually become stronger. People respect action, not excuses. They respect consistency, not perfection. So ask yourself this. What would I do today if I truly believed nobody was watching? Would you practice English out loud? Would you apply for that job? Would you stop waiting? Nobody caring is not a curse, it's freedom. It means you can fail, learn, stand up, and try again without permission. Use that freedom, because when you stop living for others, you finally start building a life that feels like yours. Let me ask you a simple but uncomfortable question. Why not now? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Why not now, this very moment, while you're listening to this? Think about it for a second. What are you really waiting for? Most people say things like, I'll start later, or I'll do it when I have more time, or I'm not ready yet. But here's the hard truth. Later almost never comes. Life doesn't suddenly slow down. You don't magically get more confidence. You don't wake up one day feeling fearless. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you will be waiting forever. And here's the benefit of starting now. When you start now, even with a small step, you build momentum. One tiny action today is more powerful than a perfect plan that stays in your head for years. If you start now, you learn faster, you grow faster, you feel proud of yourself faster. Think about learning English. Maybe you've been saying things like, I'll start speaking when my grammar's better. But grammar gets better because you speak, not before. Speak now, make mistakes now, laugh about them later. That's how real progress happens. This mindset is easy to use in daily life. Want to practice English? Don't wait for a class. Say one sentence out loud right now. Want to be healthier? Don't wait for Monday. Take a 10-minute walk today. Want to change your life? Don't wait for motivation. Motivation comes after action, not before. Ask yourself this question. What is the smallest step I can take right now? Not the biggest, not the scariest, just the smallest. Open a book, write one sentence, record a 30-second voice note in English. That's it. That's enough to start. Here's another truth people don't like to hear. If you don't start now, someone else will. Someone else will take that opportunity. Let me ask you a question that might make you uncomfortable, but stay with me for a moment. If nothing changes in your life, where will you be 1 year from now? Same habits, same routine, same excuses, or closer to the life you say you want? Here's the hard truth, said in a simple way.
Time is moving, whether you move or not. The clock does not care if you feel tired. It does not slow down because you're confused. It does not wait for you to feel ready. Every day passes quietly, and once it's gone for good. Think about this. 5 years ago, you probably had goals. Maybe you wanted to speak better English. Maybe you wanted a better job, more confidence, more freedom. Now, ask yourself honestly, what did you do with that time? This is not to make you feel bad. This is to wake you up. The benefit of understanding this is powerful. When you truly feel that time is limited, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. Endless scrolling, waiting for motivation, saying, "I'll start next week." You realize that later is dangerous because later often becomes never. This idea is very easy to apply in real life. You don't need to change everything today, just change one small thing. For example, instead of watching random videos for 1 hour, spend 10 minutes listening to English. Read one page, speak one sentence out loud. That small action done every day adds up fast. Many people think they need more time. That's not true. You don't need more time, you need more focus. Even 15 minutes a day is enough if you use it well. Over 1 year, that's more than 90 hours. Imagine how much better your English or your life can be with that. Here's another question for you. What is more painful, starting now or looking back later with regret? Regret is heavy. It stays with you. Action is uncomfortable, but only for a short time. So don't wait for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The best time is now, not because you feel ready, but because time will not ask you again. Start today. One small step, one clear decision, because the clock is ticking and your future self is watching, hoping you don't waste another day. Let me ask you something real and be honest with yourself for a second. What if nobody is actually watching you as much as you think? What if nobody is judging your every move? What if nobody really cares? That sounds scary at first, right? But stay with me because this idea can completely change your life. Here's the truth most people never tell you. People are busy. They are worried about their own problems, their own money, their own family, their own stress. They might look at you for 5 seconds, maybe comment, maybe judge a little, and then they move on. That means something powerful for you. You are more free than you think. The benefit of understanding this is huge. When you stop worrying about what people think, you start doing what actually matters. You speak more, you try more, you fail more, and that's a good thing because growth only happens when you try. Think about learning English. Maybe you're scared to speak because you think people will laugh. But guess what? Most people don't care. And even if they do, it lasts 1 minute, then it's gone. But your progress stays, your confidence stays, your skill stays. This idea is easy to use in daily life. Next time you feel nervous, ask yourself this simple question. Will this matter in 1 year? Will anyone remember this small mistake? The answer is almost always no. So why let fear control you today? Here's another way to use this mindset.